Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yo, what up, what up? It's your boy Rabino.
And this DJ in the building.
And you listening to the UpNUp Podcast.
Yeah.
Wait, what are we doing?
I don't know, just listen.
Yes. Welcome.
What it do?
Welcome, everybody. This is officially the first episode of the UpNUp Podcast.
Officially.
Can we get a hand clap in the studio one time? Yeah, it's lit.
Lit.
For those of you first-time listeners out there, obviously, hence the name UpNUp. This platform is built to provide a platform for those who are living that lifestyle, who are grinding towards their visions, their goals, and their dreams. And, you know, we just kind of want to give them a space to create and share what they got going on, right?
Exactly.
Right?
Couldn't have said it better myself.
And the man to my right is a definition of living on the up and up.
For sure.
We got owner, operator of Cafe Avole, located in Seattle, one of the most thriving coffee cafes in the city. We got Solomon Dubie in the building. Can we get a hand clap for my guy?
Yeah.
How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good, man.
You good? Can you talk to the mic a little closer?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Of course.
Yeah, it's all good. So before we get to you, I think this is like a celebratory moment. You know what I mean? We got the champagne popping.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? I think, can we get someone to pour this out for us? Brandon, you want to come help us out? Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on.
Get these bottles popped.
Yeah, man. But no, man, it's a pleasure to have you, bro.
Thank you.
We definitely appreciate it. We've been, we pay attention from a distance. I know Erm does. I do.
Yeah.
But yeah, before we jump into kind of Cafe Avole, I feel like we should take it back a little bit. Talk about your upbringing. You know what I mean?
Right.
So where did you grow up? You grew up in Seattle?
Grew up in Seattle, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And how could you say that shaped you as far as like, where you're at? You know, the man you are today. How did growing up in this city kind of shape that for you?
Man, probably in like many different ways, honestly. Family's been a big influence on me, who I am.
Mm-hmm.
Having a community, also plays a huge role in who we are and, what we become, our environment, friends, who we kick it with. So it's been a blessing to just be able to, learn from a lot of people ahead of me.
Yeah.
Who, probably had a lot of struggles and, haven't had the chance or opportunity to either go to school or do much.
Mm-hmm.
So a little to say that.
So the community kind of, like watching the community and kind of other examples in your community kind of shaped in terms of like what you wanted to do and how you didn't want to do things, right?
Yeah. So in both ways, right?
Okay.
You've got a lot of street activity, people that have grown up in poverty that either can, influence you. And we've seen a lot of people fall down that path, and a lot of people have lost their lives. And so it's like, I'm grateful that I didn't head down that path.
Yeah, it didn't influence you in a negative way.
Yes.
Okay,
definitely.
for sure. That's
Definitely.
good, man. That's good. I think, it's important where you come from, right?
Yes.
It plays a big part in who you become.
Oh, man.
The people that surround yourself with.
Yeah.
So, no, definitely, bro.
Major.
Definitely. That's good. That's good to hear.
Definitely. So what were like some of like your dreams, aspirations, like growing up?
As a kid, man,
Yeah.
Same thing as everybody else. I want to make it to the league.
Get to this money. Get to this money.
That too. But we thought we were superstars. We were trying to get to the NBA level, get some money,
definitely.
But
Hoop dreams.
Hoop dreams, yeah. I mean, everybody had hoop dreams, but
Yeah.
I think over time it became reality to me that that wasn't gonna happen.
Yeah. Everybody hits that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was fun, but at least we were aspire to do something,
Mm-hmm.
and that's probably one of the segues that kind of led towards the next level.
step.
Like, oh shit, okay, I know I'm not gonna go to the NBA, or no, I'm not gonna hoop for the rest of my life. Okay, what am I gonna do? So there was a point in my time in my life where it was just like, all right, I gotta figure this out.
Yeah.
I gotta figure out what my success is gonna be.
I think that's the hardest thing though for like black males growing up is like all we're fed is images of entertainers and athletes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then those who aren't in that category, we don't really get exposed to that, right? So, so it kind of leads into this next question. So, obviously, when you go into business for yourself, you have to have a clear vision, right? In terms of what you want to do.
Definitely.
But how early did you kind of start developing that vision for yourself? Like, was it in your teen years? Was it, kind of a little bit later after that? Or
No,
at what point?
It was all in college. It was all in school.
Okay.
What
school did you go to?
I went to Eastern. I'm an Eagle.
Shout out to the Eagles.
Hey.
Shout out to the Eagles. I'm like a halvesy. I went there.
Yeah, you guys are.
We're not
on the
bringing it up. It's cool.
borderline.
Yeah. It's cool. It's cool.
So I was grateful enough to have a lot of people around me, my friends and family. I had my cousin with me. There was a big community, especially in the East African community, as far as that particular point in time, where we supported each other. And so a lot of the conversations we used to have, we'd sit around and talk about, like, okay, what are we gonna do after this? Like, there was always the idea. Like, I've always had the idea. Like, I know for sure I'm not gonna work for nobody. And it wasn't with that. Like, I think I just knew myself. I just knew the fact that, like, man, I got to figure this out. Like, I see other people doing this. Like, man, I think I could do something. And the inspiration, I don't know what came over me, but there was a point in time where I just realized, man, maybe it's coffee. I knew it was something. I didn't know what it was, but
Like, was there signs that you kind of picked up along the way that kind of just spoke out to you? Like, it's about paying attention to those signs.
Course.
So what were some of those signs that you kind of picked up on?
So originally it started with one of my friends. He's almost like a mentor, really, especially at that time. He was a lot older than me, but he was in school with us.
Okay.
And so he came across a book. He had read a book, and he started really digging deep into, like, thought and, like, your inner subconscious and, like, what you feed it, and he had me read the book, and it was just, like, inspiring. I was like, oh shit, I don't even remember the name of it or nothing. I remember reading a few chapters of it, and I was just kind of like, what the fuck, like, okay, yeah, this is real, but so with that being said, I knew that I needed to inject myself with something that I wanted to have, like, passionately, like, what was it, like, what do I want to do? And so there was a point in time where I tell the story all the time, but I was dropping my mom off to work one morning, and it was early in the morning. I was tired. I was like, man, I don't want to drop you off to work.
I'm
Break right now. I'm not trying to do this, And so she's like, get up, you gotta take me. So I took her, and I was pissed off, but I took her, and we get to downtown where she works, and I had passed up it was like a big, like, U-Haul truck, and it said something coffee on it. And I'm at the light. My mom's got a little cup of boon, she's sipping herself. And I look at her, I look at the truck. I'm like, oh shit.
Okay.
Everybody drinks coffee.
Yeah.
This is a drug.
Okay.
But I felt like as if, like, there was opportunity. Especially I started thinking, I was running through my mind. I'm like, man, I've never seen any, like, Ethiopian coffee shop. Like, oh shit, the more I started digging deep into it, I was like, I started Googling when I got home. Like, I mean, for months I would just do research, like, hold on, what's going on, like, with the coffee industry as far as, like, Ethiopian coffee. Like, I mean, I've seen all these coffee shops. I see Starbucks, I see Tully's. At that point, those are the only two that I knew. But when I realized that there's this other coffee company, I'm like, hold up, man. What's going on? And I started reflecting, like, okay, I know all the, like, restaurants or typical restaurants, Ethiopian restaurants, the Eritrean restaurants that you see in Seattle. And I was like, man, I don't really see anything out there that's, like, really, like, artisan coffee, like, like, that focused on it. And, us being East African Ethiopian, like, we got coffee in the backyard. Like, it's nothing. It grows wild, And so that kind of,
that sparked it for you.
That sparked it.
Okay.
And then from there, it was just a matter of kind of, like, filling in the gaps. And, seeing if I was really passionate about doing this or not. And then finding the confidence in doing it. And saying, oh, shit, like, I'm about to do coffee.
Yeah.
I'm about to try to get in this game. And, sell coffee. And at first, it was all about, trying to do it big. It's like, oh, shit, I want to bring in, crates of this. I'm doing research. I'm seeing what they're doing. I'm finding out how much it costs.
So you're talking more so distributing coffee as opposed to having your own shop.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how it started. It was all about distributing coffee. I had an idea. I'd break down, like, the numbers, and I'd sit there and, like, this is, like, over a few years of process, like, trying to figure out the industry. So while I was in school, every assignment that I had to do, whatever it was. I mean, if it was. So
at what point of college is this? Is this freshman year, sophomore year,
this is
junior?
Like, this is like junior year.
Okay.
This is junior year.
Okay. It's a great year to start.
For real though.
Seriously, I mean, but
for
time's
sure.
ticking.
Senior
What are
year,
you gonna do?
Same time,
for
you got
sure,
to.
sure.
I mean, it also helped me complete college, because at that same time, I'm like, I was passionate enough to to educate myself. I learned that I need to continue to learn, and I was inspired by that. I was like, damn, man, I'm about to, get into this game. I got to know everything I need to know. And so then I was like, hold up, I can't just, distribute coffee.
Yeah.
I don't even know coffee like that. So my focus started to kind of shift, and I started to look at it in a bigger picture. Like, okay, wait, this is not going to be just a, tomorrow get rich scheme, It's like, okay, hold on. I got to actually understand my product. I actually have to like serve my product.
Build a vision.
Yeah, I have to build a brand.
Yeah,
at that.
Definitely.
And so it was like, man, let me scale down and start with like the bottom of the bottom, and that's the coffee shop. And so for me it was like, okay, I'm gonna open up a coffee shop. I'm gonna serve coffee, and I'm gonna see how customers react, and I'm gonna see if they love it. I'm gonna see if I can actually put something together that's even comparable to a lot of the coffee shops that you see in the city. And so from there it was just like, man, one stepping stone at a time. It's like build this, and then build that, and then move my way up. And so I'm grateful. I've got a 10-year plan, and shit, I'm like halfway through it, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. This is beautiful. Like, every time I accomplish something, I'm like, oh my God, like I remember thinking or sitting back and like visualizing that. Oh man, but it seems so far away.
So talk about that. So visualizing, because me and Erm talk about that all the time. Like you have to envision yourself. Like, I'm sure at that time you're envisioning yourself in the coffee shop.
Oh, yeah.
Interacting with customers, right? Cleaning up after, closing up, opening up, right?
Yes.
And I know you probably,
definitely
can relate to that too.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, what were some of the steps you took, like, after you got out of college, So what were, like, one of the first steps? Because, once you get out of college, reality hits. You're like, all right,
what the fuck
I'm in here. I'm out here now,
So what am I about to do?
Yeah, that's...
I mean, man, graduated, left, and still had the passion. And first year, just like everybody else, I kicked it. I didn't do nothing. I didn't do anything. I didn't get a job. I didn't do nothing.
That's the I made it mindset, right?
Yeah,
like, I made it. I did
seriously.
that. Yeah,
and
I'm
you
good.
kind of have to go through that because we've been in school for damn near 30 years, 25 years or so. And so I took a year off and just chilled, and then got a part-time job. But on my free time, what I would do is I would just research and see who I can connect with. So I ended up connecting with a couple of nonprofit organizations that do funding, and so I was like, man, okay, well, I can get the capital, and I got to build out the rest of my business plan. I already had like sort of a rough draft of what that would look like just from school and sitting back at school and kind of just drafting up stuff, and or utilizing the tools that were around me. It's like, okay, I got a buddy that's in financing, I got a buddy that's in management or something, and I literally would sit back with them and they'd be like, you're crazy, and I'd be like, no, let me use your book real quick.
Wow.
Seriously. So I would take material from that and apply it, and I'd take the the ideology behind.
Do you felt like they didn't need to know what the reasoning was, right? Like like when you ask them for those resources and stuff like that, and they're like, what are you trying to do with this? You're like, don't worry about it, just give me that shit. Like, I got a plan,
Yeah. I was very open about it, actually.
Okay.
I was very open about it. I was very passionate about it. So it's like, like I said, I related to anything I did was, I would do an assignment on an argumentative essay, and I would find an argument in the coffee culture, and especially in Ethiopia. And connect it. And that helped me learn a lot. That helped me pick up a lot of different things, and got me to where I'm at today.
Did that help you though? Like, so obviously trying to reconnect coffee to its essence, right? Ethiopia. Like, did that help you kind of, I guess, take away the mindset of, okay, I'm just starting another business? It's more so like, this is something that matters, that's needed.
Oh, yeah. That
is culturally important and impactful.
Oh, definitely.
So is that kind of something that helps you propel and continue and stay persistent?
Yeah, definitely. Even back then, I would always envision a community building, a business that also is involved in social well-being and community building. So I would envision what that would look like, and it was just like, okay, well, how can I apply what I'm doing here and have some type of connection with either a community back home in Ethiopia, which would be in my field, a coffee village, a coffee farm. I was always inspired by, I don't know if you guys gosh, I'm lost words right now. There's a cat out here who Isra. I'm sorry. Isra is another big, huge leader in the community. You probably don't hear about him too much, but he's done so much for Ethiopia. It's like, what the heck? Like, if you literally Google his name and like look at polio and what he's done for Ethiopia as far as eliminating polio. It's like,
wow,
damn, this guy's out here. He's
unsung hero.
Yeah.
You know? Do you know who he is?
I think so.
Okay.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, so
That's dope.
He runs a bunch of one in particular State Farm agency, but he does a lot of different real estate.
I know who that is.
You got some insurance from him?
No, I might need it though.
But he's been a big impact in the community. But you know, I was always inspired by the fact that he would go back home and do something and be like, you know, and that was always. I actually ran into him in Ethiopia when I was out there doing my research on coffee. I ran into him at the airport with a lot of doctors and stuff. And I'm like, oh shit, you're really doing this?
Legit.
You know?
It ain't just talk.
It's not
he's
talk.
really doing it.
So as far as like giving back or being, trying to help build a community, I've always envisioned that, and so somewhere we want to get to.
So this is something I want you to touch on, because obviously with this platform, we want people who are watching, listening, to kind of be able to pull and draw from your story and your experience, right?
Yeah.
And going down that road. Now, most entrepreneurs, I feel like they harbor their feelings, right, and their plans and their ideas and their visions, and they protect it sometimes, right? Because you don't want to just share it to anybody.
Right.
You don't want to share your plan, especially it's a greedy ass world, right? Especially with like intellectual property and trying to protect your shit. Yeah. So like, how open were you out the gate? Like, were you open just telling people this is my plan, this is the name of the brand, or were you kind of like?
Dude, I talked about it every day.
Selective, okay.
To every single person I ran into. That's just
no skepticism, like at all.
I mean,
okay,
not at all. I mean,
so
I'm the type of person, like, if I like information, resource, whatever it is, I share it.
Okay.
You know, I don't really look at like, this guy's gonna steal my idea and try to do something, or they're gonna be a competition to me or anything like that. It's like, nah, not at all.
And I'm sure it helped you to be open about it, right?
It did.
Okay.
It did.
Okay.
It allowed me to kind of iron out what it was that I wanted to do. And so I'd get feedback from a lot of different people. They'd be like, "Oh man, look, oh shit, I know you're doing this," and they'd be like, "Oh, hey, here's some resource, or here's some information, here's this and that." It's like, that's how it should be. There are other communities that really, are very, very much open about the resources and opportunities that they have. So one thing that they do is they share it. And so for me, at that particular time, I was so passionate about it. I'm telling everybody I know. Even if they're shooting me down.
That's crazy. Because remember, I was telling you, like, these past 2 years, I've been going to different networking events and things like that, and kind of explaining the idea of this platform and what it is and what its purpose is. And I didn't know it, but subconsciously, I was doing like mini surveys with each conversation I was having, right? Like,
exactly.
And then as it added up, I'm like, yo, I got a lot of good responses from every conversation. You know what I'm saying? So that's something I think
it helps build your confidence.
Exactly. Most people should do that then, right? Okay.
I mean, I believe so. That's how, you're gonna hold yourself accountable to it too. Yeah. You go around and tell everybody, and then next thing you know, you see them the next year, they're like, "Hey, you still doing that coffee thing you talking about?" It's like, "Yeah, I'm still working on it," or or if not, then
that's
real.
You're
just a one-time talker. You just
that's
say
real.
it one time, and that's
what you
it.
been on, dog?
Or that conversation could turn into like, "Oh, I got somebody for you. You still doing that?" Blah blah blah. And then that's how you get your network. So
yes, and it builds rapport, and it builds your ability to again hold yourself accountable and be like, "Yep, I said I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna do it." And this is an example of everything I've done is an example of saying what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do. And so anything else from here on out, if I say I'm gonna do it, I'm really gonna do it.
It's all execution, right?
Yeah,
it's all about execution.
Yeah, it's all about execution. I wouldn't even say it if I know I can't even execute it. Oh yeah, I'd love to build a tower downtown. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
it's a
I
lofty
know
goal.
I ain't gonna do it.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna say it. But if the opportunity arises and there's a chance that I can do it, and I see myself like, okay, hold up, here are all the pieces to the puzzle. Can I put this together? Oh my God, look, I kind of can, and I'm about to. And so now I'm at the point where, like, if I say I'm gonna do it, yeah, definitely, I'm 100%. I'm gonna do it.
So, one thing I wanted to ask you too, I know there's probably some roadblocks that you probably ran into.
Roadblocks.
And I just want to know, like, how did you adjust to that? You know what I mean? And
roadblocks?
Yeah.
Man,
how'd you swerve?
Man, it's learning experience, man. You just know that when you like, how do I say this? When you know that there are going to be multiple roadblocks, you eventually learn how to get around them. If you're not going to go around it, you're going to jump over it, you're going to go under it, you're going to break a wall, you're going to figure it out, So there's never a point in time where it's like I deal with challenges every day, you know what I'm saying?
I think we all do.
Like, yeah. And, and it's difficult. But I've gotten good at it. I've gotten good at just sort of like, oh, shoot, you know. It was crazy the other day. I was like, man, things are going too good right now. Something's about to come up. Something's about to come up. It can't be that easy.
Is that considered anxiety? Or like, I have that shit all the time. You know? Like, I'm like, man, this is too good to be true.
This is too good to be true.
You know, where you at, devil? I know you on your way. You coming out. You coming out. Yeah.
And then sometimes you be like, oh, man, it's about to be bad. And then it'll look like it's bad, but it's not that bad. It's like, oh, hold on. I could solve this issue. I could solve this problem, you know, and you solve it.
Yo, so okay, so let's kind of fast forward. So the vision's clear, right?
Yeah.
The plan's in place. Now let's talk about building the actual cafe itself, right? Like the actual space.
Yeah.
You have an interesting story about that, and it has to do with a lot of tearing down.
Oh yeah,
and building up, right?
And so that relates to challenges, you know, or things that you know you're like, oh man, the contractor's not gonna come. Who's gonna do this for you?
Yeah,
oh, you ran out of money. What are you about to do?
Yeah. So you were in a convenience store, right? So the Cafe Avole used to be a convenience store.
Yes, it used to be a convenience store.
Okay.
So jumping into the convenience store was something that a friend of mine, we were both in conversation, and somebody put me together. It was like, oh, hey, you know, he knew my cousin was actually, he knew that I was looking for a spot. I was actually looking at a spot downtown, and I was, you know, going through just the normal stuff of trying to get the lease, trying to get the finances, get it all put together. I had the plan and everything, and again, I was working with the community capital development, which was going to provide me with the access to the capital.
Okay.
But they were also mentoring me and helping me out, building
That's
out
dope.
my.
I think that's the side people don't really get. Is like they just look at how much money they funded, but you said they mentored you along the way too.
Yeah, and helped me iron out my business plan.
Dope.
I still stay in contact with his name's Michael Coffee.
Shout out Mike.
But
wow.
Does he go by Mike?
How ironic.
I'm calling Mike. Shout out
his name's
Mike.
Michael Coffee, but
Okay.
he drinks tea. He's a tea guy.
Oh,
His
okay.
last name's Coffee, but
That's funny.
he was there on my side for a long time, and then so the opportunity with the shop, a friend of mine I was in conversation with somebody, kind of telling them, hey, there's this opportunity. Some dude's trying to sell their space or something like that. And I didn't think about it. I was like, oh no, I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to finish this project. And so me and him were kind of talking. It was like, oh, you know, hey man, we can put this together. We can actually, you know, run this coffee. We can run the shop. We could sell white teas and switchers and do this and do that. You know, it was great. And you know, and I'm glad I did it. And so we met up with the dude, and he just automatically was like, dude, like, you know what I'm saying? I love the fact that you guys are young and you guys want to do something. Here's the opportunity, you know, and, you know, all said and done, finalized the deal, got in there. It was a hole in the wall, it needed a lot of work. So we started building. We started like cleaning it up a little bit, you know, bringing in more products and, you know, kind of applying some of the things that us as, you know, Americans would naturally, you know, adapt to. It's like, oh, you have to have this product. So that was all for me. That was like an internship. Like I ran that shop, and it was an internship. It was a way for me to learn.
That's a good way to look at
business.
it.
Yeah, I just tell myself that all the time. Like, this is just an internship. I'm not trying to get rich off of this. This is like something that's going to teach me how to be in business, and then I'm gonna figure it out from there. If I can survive for the first
people
couple
need
years,
to hear this, bro. That's a dope way to think of things.
And so
yeah, that's good.
But I had wheeled in a coffee cart. I bought a little coffee cart. It was like $1,500. Boom, wheeled it in. It had the espresso, had the grinders, had everything, you know, built together. Just plug and play, and it's good to go. And so I wheeled that in, and I didn't know a lick of coffee. I didn't know how to pull a shot. I didn't know anything.
You didn't know
nothing.
You just saw like that's where I needed to put my
this
efforts
is what
towards.
I want. This is what I need. Yeah.
But you never had background in like
actually
barista.
Never. Ever.
Wow.
And
I
so,
remember those dudes, bro. Back there.
Yeah,
You know,
the
working
little
on
machine.
stuff. Yeah.
And so, I figured out how to use it. I figured out how to pull shots of making coffee. At first, it sucked. It really sucked. It was horrible. And then over time, like, there was some cats that lived around the corner. They were very supportive. And they would come all the time. And you're just like, bro, your coffee's fire. And I was like, really? Oh, shit. I was like, yeah, dude, this is fire. Coming in every day. And so from there, it was a matter of like, okay, man, you know, I want to turn this place, or I want to open up a coffee shop. I didn't really think I was going to do it inside there. I didn't think I had the capability of doing it in there. But another friend of mine, she used to live upstairs. Her name's Colleen. She used to just come at me. She'd be like, bro, like, what's wrong with you, dude? Just do it.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you mean just do it? You can't just do it.
You don't know what it's like.
Yeah. Like, what are you telling me? Just do it. Like, there's a lot of work that needs to get put together. And I think my vision of where I wanted to be at from the jump was like my expectations were really high. And so I didn't feel confident enough to be like, okay, yeah, I can utilize this space. And so, you know, she pushed me. We did a crowdfunding campaign with Indiegogo, which was like, man,
that was major.
That was major.
That was it. And you know, we were like in tune with that as well back then. But is that like something you were like banking on, or is that something you were just trying, like, let's see if this works? Like, was your plan at that set point on that, or was it like, let's see if this works? Because that's, I mean, obviously it's not in your hands. Yeah. Right. You're getting people to invest their money into your vision. So like, were you kind of like doubtful? Was there any doubts in your mind that it wouldn't take off the way it did? Because it did take off.
Yeah, I don't think I really thought about that much at that particular time. I mean, it was just like, all right, here we go.
Shoot my shot.
Together. Yeah, we got to put this together. What do we need? And, you know, she would, you know, she was like, oh, we need you to finish this, you know, outline and plan, et cetera, by this date. And so when the date came, she was like, are you ready? I was like, I don't know if I'm ready yet. She's like, well, we're going to post it. I was like, what? So we're going to post it. Let's go. And she did. And then from there, we got lucky, you know. We a lot of the resources that and people in the community that we had, everybody supported. And, you know, Susan Studenvert, she's a columnist for Seattle Times, and she wrote something in the Globalist, and then she wrote something in the Seattle Times, and then from there we took off. We started, you know, everybody started really supporting the idea and the vision, and then you know, we raised some money, and so from there it was just like we were a little short, but you know, it wasn't tripping. It was like, okay, I'm gonna put this together, and so I remember one day it was just like, all right, I think today's the last day. And literally, I didn't even plan it. I just showed up to work one day. I was like, yeah, today's the last day. That's it. I shut everything down. I taped up the windows. And I was just like, yep, this is about to happen. I didn't know what the hell I was about to do.
But show's canceled.
I used to sit there and I would envision it. I'd really sit there and envision the space that I had and what I had to do. And it's like, okay, we're going to tear this wall down. We're going to make it. I'd sit there in between the doorstep. There was this door, and I used to literally sit there and kind of like look at my peripherals from both sides and be like, oh, shit, there's a lot of space. If I get rid of those fridges, if I get rid of this, move this around, oh, there's hella space. Yeah. The countertop right here. So I really envisioned it. I really drew it out. I had help from my brother. He helped me out, draw it out a couple times with the floor plans. And then I just started tearing down the walls. And we just started knocking the walls down, moving things around. Luckily, I had the help of some carpenters who were just like, yeah, come on, I got you. We'll, you know, you know, we don't got to pay me that much. We'll just do it ourselves. Yeah. And so we did that, and then at the same time, I was learning. I was learning how to build. I was learning how to use my hands. You know, I did the floors, I did most of the shell work. I had them do most of the major work. Yeah. And so there'd be times where I'm sitting there by myself, just putting things together, and then sometimes where I get some help. And then,
you know, so it seemed like you were locked in. Right? Like focus-wise, you were just locked in. Oh, yeah. This was going to happen. Oh, yeah, it was going to come hell or high water. But, you know, a lot of people when they're building, and I'm sure a lot of people who are watching and listening can understand, like, there's moments when you're vulnerable, right? Where you're just like, am I even doing what I'm supposed to be doing? Is this even going to work? Yeah. Like, what were some of those moments for you to where you kept it real with yourself? Like, man, what is going on right now? Like, you know, everybody has those moments where you just kind of have self-doubt. It's just being human. But, like, what are some things you can probably, like, reference that happened?
You know, I think at that particular time I was already building up a lot of the confidence. Okay. I was scared. I was like, oh shit, is this really gonna work? Yeah. I was like, what's gonna happen? And so I remember I wasn't really done. You know, there's still a lot of work that needed to be done. Yeah. And yet that, you know, my friend Colleen was like, hey, look, it's been about 6 months. What's up? Are you ready? You know, she does it again. She's like, you ready? We're going to open up. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, yeah, we're going to set it March 15th. That's it. I was like, nah, I don't think I'm going to be ready for that. She's like, dude, don't trip. She's like, don't think that you need to be, you know, A+ right now. It's like, it's cool. Just start off with a C. And you'll be fine. Yeah. You know, you can build your way on, or build your way up from there.
Just start. We were talking about that earlier. Like, I feel like the attempt in itself is a win, right? Just attempting it, right? Taking that shot. It's huge. It's a win in itself, right? Yep. Because you're not second guessing yourself after.
No.
You know, in case you passed up the shot, like we were talking about.
Yeah. So
that's good. That's dope.
So
that's
we
good.
Just started, and we just, we opened up. It was a C. It had a lot of stuff I needed to finish up. Some things that weren't,
It was fun though, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the side people don't understand. Like, it's fun. That's actually enjoyable, right?
It's a lot, man. Seeing people's reaction every day. Every day when I see people's reaction to the space, and it's just like, what the hell? This is crazy. Wow. Either from they've been there before and they see what it looks like now, or they come in there and this is their first time ever in this space, and they're like, man, I didn't think this coffee shop like this existed.
And you're probably like, dog, this ain't shit. This ain't nothing.
Yeah.
This is
this nothing. Like, what's in my head right now?
What's in my head is
this was like a year ago. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
For real.
Exactly.
That's dope. That's
Where
dope.
I want to take it is down the road.
That's dope.
Nice.
Were you always into culinary arts, like cooking and stuff like that? Because I was
not at all.
I've had the food. It's good. It's really good.
Not at all. Blessing to my boy E. He came out here from DC and he put me on.
Okay.
He really put me on, and that's part of that. Like, sharing that. Sharing your skill sets, or whatever you can, information or whatever it is. And he came in and he really put us on, and he taught me everything I know as far as cooking. But I knew how to cook, kind of.
Okay.
It was all right. But and then again, he was there for a short period of time, and he did take off, and we did, try to adjust and try to, replicate what he taught us. And,
yeah.
Also perfect it at the same time. And, when you're doing something, every single day,
yeah.
by the end of the
you're only going to get better, right?
You're going to get better.
You stay committed.
You're going to start flipping that stuff behind your back.
Definitely. So, one question I have for you too was, what's the story behind the name?
Oh, the name.
Avole.
Yeah, the name Avole. So, in the beginning, while I was in school, I was coming up with a bunch of different names, and I was sitting down with my aunt, and we were just going back and forth. I was like, "What do you think of this?"
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, "Oh," she's like, "Well, used it." And she just, we collaborated and put it together, and it was marvelous, And I was, at that particular time, I was scared because I was like, oh my God, somebody else is going to come up with this name. Or they're going to take this name.
Yeah.
So Avole obviously is, it's pronounced in many different ways. It's Avole, Avole. But I really stuck with Avole and spelled it out a little different. And that's just because that's just the way I preferred it.
Yeah.
I had it with the B, and I was like,
make it unique, though. It's yours.
Yeah. And I was like, maybe let me add the V. The V looks better,
Yeah.
I had my boy Minkus really putting together a lot of the graphic design.
Shout out Minkus.
Yeah, shout out Minkus for real.
So he put me on with that, and so Avole, first cup of or first real pot out of the Ethiopian coffee culture, Ethiopian origin, and you got that, the jebena, and so everybody refers to the first round of coffee as Avole. Or Avole. I'm gonna call it Avole. So
Avole.
Definitely. You guys know.
You
know the meaning.
Let them know, man.
A lot of people don't know.
A
lot of people are like, what Avole? What's that? What is that meaning? And they'll ask me, and I'll interpret them. They'll be like, oh,
yeah.
So so that's the meaning of it, and to me that means the fresh pot, and the richest coffee that you're gonna get, and so. People love the coffee that they get.
You mentioned that you incorporated obviously the culture using the jebena. And being in Seattle, which is, I would say, is like the mecca of coffee with Starbucks here and stuff. Two-part question. So was that kind of intimidating, knowing that you're coming into a market that's obviously like dominated by the biggest coffee chain in the world? And in regards to the jebena, because I've seen Starbucks use the jebena in some of their marketing, right? So did that kind of bother you, or were you kind of like, let me really show them what it's about? Is that what?
I think... So like I would go to coffee shops, and I would go to Starbucks, and I've seen the image that you're talking about with the jebena and sitting. They've got a bunch of their coffee shops.
A lot of spots,
and they're using it as marketing, but nobody knows what that is because they can't experience it. And
for sure,
Starbucks can't really replicate something that can. I mean, down the road maybe, but that's something sacred to that East African coffee culture.
For sure,
and so. I introduced it. I knew what to do with it. I had my aunt bring it in. I had my mom, go through the marination process of marinating the pot, and she taught me how to do it. And so from there, I already know how to make jebena. I used to do it for my mom when I was a kid, so it wasn't nothing new. And the science behind it was really, similar to understanding different methods and different ways of brewing coffee. You've got your espresso, you've got your pour over, your French press, you've got your drip or whatnot, but you don't really see the jebena. And so the way I introduced it was a little different. We didn't want to do the ceremony style. You know, I really wanted to give that control or the experience to the consumer and allow them to, you know, sit back.
So kind of have that balance. You don't want, because you obviously don't want to compromise the culture.
You don't want
right?
to compromise.
But at the same time, you do want to make it
an experience.
an enjoyable experience for everybody, make it more universal.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now when I sit at the shop and I see like 5, 6, 7 people with a jebana on the table, it's like, damn, go doing something right.
They learning.
You know?
They learning.
They
waking up.
And so now actually in Addis Ababa, I don't know if it was, you know, I recently spoke to a couple people and they're saying that people in Addis Ababa are actually starting to do it the way that I've been doing it. I don't know if they took it from me or they've been doing it for years, but when I went there, they wasn't doing it. But, you know, you can go and order yourself a jebana and they'll bring it to your table, and you don't have to have that entire, you know, traditional aspect where you got your mom freshly roasting the beans. Going through the whole process.
And I feel like not everybody deserves that anyways, you know. I don't know. That's just me. I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's dope. That's dope. So what do you like you obviously been talking a lot about the grind and the commitment and obviously the hard work you put in, but like as far as you just, you know, Solomon, like what do you do in your free time? Like what's something that kind of takes your mind off things, you know? Like you're not always you know, business. There has to be other things that kind of take up your time, you know, something that you kind of use as leisure, maybe a hobby you may have picked up, I don't know, like.
So lately it's been carpentry work.
Okay.
I just been trying to build stuff.
Okay.
Know. Just got done, not done yet, but kind of redoing my mom's kitchen.
Okay.
And then on my free time, I got back into working on cars. I'm working on my Elko again. So
I
I'm
heard
excited about
I
that.
heard the piece that Fletcher did on you.
Fletcher
on the UpNUp. You can go check it out now at Food for Thought.
Yeah.
He talked about the El Camino.
Yes, my El Camino.
And how it's kind of like symbolic of like evolution in a sense, right? Like you're seeing it evolve, right?
Oh yeah.
And you're evolving yourself, and Cafe Avole's evolving, so it's kind of like they're all intertwined or interconnected.
I guess it's just the fruits of the labor, just putting in all the energy into it, you know. I've always had a passion with cars and worked on cars since I was a kid, and it's just like I still got my first car, still got my Cutlass.
They talked about that. Streets was talking about that.
I still got my Cutlass. It's parked up. It's right in front of the El Camino, but I'm gonna get to that.
Yeah. I talked to your brother. He was telling me they said they used to refer to you as the dude who was 17 with 23-inch rims. The dude who's 17 with 23s.
It's true, man. It was fun. Me and my cousin, we used to work on cars with his kids, and he would he had a Monte Carlo, I had my Cutlass, and we'd go to the junkyard like every weekend. Like, that was our thing. We'd just try to soup it up and make it look nice. Man, I can't lie. Like I still got some pictures of it when it was sitting on it was 22s, but you know, back then.
I keep them clean though.
I keep them clean up.
It's only 1 inch. It's 1 inch. Ain't like, if it was 10 inches lower, it'd be like, all right.
Yeah.
No, you're good.
Yeah, that was a different time in my life.
Yeah, so, but I mean, I just bring that up because obviously you got to have a balance, right? Like, you know, obviously you got to be able to spend time with your family and your friends. And
man, for the longest I wasn't able to do that.
Yeah, and speak to that as well. That's a sacrifice, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, man, you know, it's been 2 years, man. I mean, time be flying. It seems like it's been 10, but it's been 2 years since the cafe's been open. But I've been in that building for 5 years now, going on 6. And
wow.
Yeah,
that's major.
It's like it's been a lot of sacrifice, a lot of energy put into the goal, and you know, it took me away from a lot of different things. It took me away from people, but it also shaped me.
Yeah,
you know? And it also built my connections and built my network. And so
you know, I have this interesting thing about, like, obviously I feel like with our support circles, friends, whether it be friends, family, there's like people who can grow with you and people who just watch you grow. Yeah. Right. And it's not like you're cutting people off, but it's kind of like they're not adjusting to where you're going and how you're evolving.
Yeah, it's
natural. Did you deal with that?
Oh yeah, it's natural. It's natural. I probably lost a lot of friends, but I mean, I don't think I lost friends.
You didn't lose them.
I just don't see them as often.
Yeah.
You know, when I see them, it's love. It's the same love that I've always had, and you know,
just different evolution paths.
Yeah,
you know?
That's
how I look at it.
Yeah, definitely. It's difficult, you know, because you just naturally adapt towards, you know, the folks that are going to help you keep you alive. You know, it's like, I'm networking with these folks because we're supposed to be working on a project, but then you become friends, you know, and just like, oh shit, what are you doing tomorrow? You ain't doing nothing. Come on, let's link up. And at the same time, all of our conversations is all about.
It's like-minded. Everybody's like-minded. That's dope.
Definitely.
That's dope. We were talking about the mindset too, right?
Yeah.
The mindset you gotta have.
You have to.
Definitely. Different mentality.
So talk about so we know where you started, but like right now, 2018, right? Your business is booming. It's a success. What kind of mindset do you have now? Obviously, right? It's not like obviously you're probably still hungry. You know, you're on that grind, but like your mindset probably changes a little bit, right? Has it shifted?
Yeah, in many different ways.
Okay.
Just, you know, the things that I do every day. At least, like, I think I'm quicker at resolving situations or figuring out situations or things, you know. Like, I don't wait till tomorrow. I like something. One of my older friends, he's an older cat. He would call me and he'd be like, "Hey, Solomon, I need you to do something for me. I need you to call somebody and ask them if they've got or something, you know." And I'd be like, "Okay, yep." And the old me would be like, and this is him. He taught me, you know, I had to go through this, and this is when I realized, like, oh man, he's right, you know. But he'd be like, "Yeah, call him," right? And so the old me would probably be like, "Oh, yep, I'm gonna call him." And probably not get to it till the next day or the day after, because, you know, I'm busy doing what I'm doing right now. Yeah. And so, but he would call me back like in 5 minutes and be like, "Yo, did you call him?" I'm like, "Nah, I didn't call him yet. I'm about to call him."
That's how I am with this guy right here.
I'm gonna call him in 5 minutes. But, you know, then he stopped me and he was just like, "Listen, you know, you're running a business, you're doing this, you need to start doing stuff now." It's like, if people ask you to do something, you better do it now. Yeah. Don't waste your time. You got 24 hours. You probably don't got 24 hours right now because you're gonna go to sleep for the 7 or 8 or maybe even 6, 5. Who knows? You know. So get it done. It's like whatever it is, and so that
just
taught
get it
me.
Done.
Yeah, that taught me to just, you know, something. We're gonna put something together. Oh, quickly call all your resources. Bam. Can you do this for me?
Just get it out the
Boom.
way.
You know, because if you got to knock out as much things as you can in a day. Yeah. And so that kept me busy. You know, kept me busy, and so I would just continuously pile on more tasks and more stuff.
So now it's easier for you to just kind of get it done right then and there.
Yeah.
Not ponder over it and think about it.
No.
All right. Well, we got a special surprise for you.
Nah.
Yeah. We've been thinking about we've been pondering this ourselves. So the reason I asked you about your mindset now is because I don't know if you remember, we did an interview with you. Yeah. On the late sesh.
Yeah. I remember that.
About 3 years ago. Was it 3 years ago?
3 years ago. It was right.
2015.
Yeah.
And so we pulled a clip from that interview, okay? And we want you to hear what your mindset was when you were starting out back then. Cool?
Come on.
All right, let's play it.
You know, to be honest, it's like, for me, it's always been about envisioning what I wanted. And, you know, one of the biggest challenges that I've noticed and that I had throughout the whole entire process was building the confidence amongst what you want to do and knowing for sure that's what you want to do, you know? Yeah. And me, it was coffee. And in the beginning, it was like, well, you know, damn, coffee? Like, you know, what the hell? Yeah. You know, I'd bring it up to certain people and I'd talk to people about it. And, you know, I'd be like, damn, you know, I think I want to explore coffee. And I was like, what do you want to do coffee for? You know, you know? And it just, you know, the fire just sparked and I went for it. And fear, you know, tossed it to the side. Yeah. And, you know, and it was for me, the biggest thing was about becoming an expert. So, you know, I have a lot of competition. You know,
and we'll end it right there. But, so you talked about that, right?
3 years ago. Man.
3 years ago.
Crazy.
And, like, I listened back to that, and I'm like, damn. One thing that stuck out to me was you said fear, you tucked it to the side, right?
Fear, yeah, of course.
Like, you just tucked it to the side. When you mentioned, like, coffee initially to people, they were, like, questioning, like, coffee? Why are you going for coffee, you know? And so I think it's a matter of just staying true to yourself. That's something I pulled from that. Right. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, you know, I was always scared. That was that part of, like, building that confidence. And so, you know, it was very scary just to be able to put yourself out there and be like, oh, you know, this is what I'm about to do, and I'm about to serve coffee. I'm about to, you know, and without everybody understanding, like, where I wanted to get to and why I'm in this position right now. Because, you know, everybody's mentality is that, oh shoot, like I'm a you know, I'm young. Oh, I'm gonna buy my mama the house. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. You know, thinking that they're just gonna find $1 million laying around the corner or something like that without putting.
I'll be thinking that every day, bro.
Yeah, without putting yourself out there. I wish.
Pay attention to the ground. You might find some shit. Yeah, you never know. I don't know.
But I would, you know, it really at that particular time, like knowing that, oh man, this is gonna be a lot of work. Like, damn, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta do this. This is gonna be a lot of work just to get to where I need to get to.
Yeah.
And so you don't know if it's gonna work or it's not, how people are gonna react to it.
It's purposeful though.
Very much.
I think that's what keeps everybody driving, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's something we want people to pull from your story is, you know, regardless of the obstacles that lay ahead, right? The mountain that you got to climb. If you can live in your truth while you're trying to build it, you know, it'll be an enjoyable process.
Definitely.
Right?
Every time you hit that summit, you're just like, oh, and then, you realize how far you've gotten. You're just like, I can't go back. I got to get to the top. And so you keep going.
Yeah.
And yeah, just from seeing you, I seen you break it down into like, you know, somebody just looks at a mountain, they're like, damn, looking at the top, like, how am I gonna get up there? But if you're like, all right, let me just go there
first,
I'm gonna go there,
go
I'm
there,
gonna go there, I'm
yeah,
gonna go there,
yeah,
I'm gonna end up
exactly.
at the top, you know. So
And so that's for me. That's what the shop is. That's what the shop
It's
is
strategy, right?
That is.
You're just taking your wildest dreams and then kind of rationalizing them and then just executing.
And once you're in there, and once you know how to do it once, man, you're gonna repeat that thing, you know, over and over again. You're like, that's it.
It's repetition.
Like what? Like I was like, you know, I used to sit back. You know, you see so many different businesses, or you know, you see all these big companies and corporations, and you don't really understand like what it took for them to get there. You see them at that present time where they're at, but you don't know like they went through a lot just to get here. And so, you know, just the fact that, you know, I had to like, you know, start from the bottom.
That's
really.
what it's about.
It's like,
we talk about this all the time. It's like people are infatuated with the success one has, but I'm more interested with how you got to that point, right? And that's something this platform we hope can serve as is like some context, right? It's a platform to provide context to your success, right? And I think you telling your story is someone's gonna be watching right now who may be at a roadblock,
right? And
they'll hear how you overcame some of the stuff you overcame, and we're hoping that they can draw from that. And it'll propel them past that roadblock.
Man, I hope so too, man. I mean, I'm an open book, like I said, you know, from the beginning. So I share all my resources, my contacts, because I know how hard it is, and I know how, you know, you can be afraid, like, oh man, what do I do next, or you know, how do I do that? And it's like, I really want to get that spot, you know, but I don't know how I'm gonna get there. And so it's as simple as just going there sometimes.
Yeah,
you know,
talking to them.
Yeah, and you realize, oh shoot, that's it. I would get in my business license, like that's it, man. Oh my God.
yeah.
One piece of paper, 3 questions.
Right.
You got your license. $15.
That's crazy. So
for all y'all listening out there, man, just go to the couch, scrape up $15,
you know?
get some change, whatever you got to do. You know.
You know, put together a piece of it. You know.
Yeah.
And then from there, everything else will just unfold, and
you
just continue to be like, oh, okay, I got this piece and this piece, and it's just the rest of the piece to the puzzle. And then next thing you know, you've got like a bigger picture, and you're like, oh shoot, now I know where I need to go. But before that, I know. Yeah, you could just be like, man, I want to do that, but you don't know how to do it. Yeah. And so, you know, that's something that we need to share. That's something that we need to, you know, teach each other, that it's easy, it's accessible. You see, you know, many different races utilize it. You know, we're here in the United States of America, where whether we love it or not, there's opportunity, and you could be sitting around not trying to take advantage of it and complain about everything else that's going on around you, or you can really just be able to like, oh, I'm about to take advantage of this. Yeah. Because you know, I see folks from back home come, you know, every week. I met a person. He was only here 2 years ago. First week he got here, he was like, yeah, I'm about to do this and that. And you know, now he's a nurse, and 2 years later he's good. He got a house, and he's got this. It's like, we've been here for 30 years. we ain't even got our own property.
Man, you know what? It's crazy though, like, because I think that's something you exemplify is like that's just that collaborative spirit, you know? Like, you work with community organizations from the jump, right? You try to you know, collab. And I think that's important. That's something that we need, is more support, right? We say this all the time, like, it doesn't take away from me to support you, right? It won't hinder me on my path, right? It can only help the greater good for all of us, create more access, you know? And I think that's something that, you know, you will be able to provide, right? Hopefully someone watching this who wants to go into the food service industry, maybe not even coffee, but just whatever. It could be anything. They have access to you now, right? Where can they find you?
At the shop.
Okay, where's the shop at? Let them know.
It's out there in Rainier 6630.
Okay.
Rainier Avenue South.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Cafe Avole. Google it.
Yep. No, definitely. In Instagram handles and all that.
Yeah.
At Cafe Avole.
I respond to everybody, so
For sure.
I'm very humbled about all the opportunity I have, and so and I'm learning. I'm grateful right now. I'm sitting on the board of advisors to the mayor's office, and we're just helping.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
I didn't get that
That's
insight.
dope. Yeah, it's dope.
We're sitting on the. This is the first table that's been put together as far as for businesses to have a seat at the table, to be able to get out there and advocate for ourselves and be able to step in where whether it be city council or anybody else out there, legislators that are writing up different laws and trying to change up whatever it may be, we're able to lobby for that. And so I'm grateful as a young entrepreneur to be able to sit there and give them my 2 cents.
You see, and that's something I think that's interesting. Is like as you continue to evolve and grow, and the business that you started grows, you expand beyond that, and now it's more like, okay, like how can I lead our community, right?
Exactly.
How can I get in those council meetings, right? But it started with the dream. It started with the vision of building this,
totally different.
and then you take that and capitalize off what you built, right? But you have ownership, right? You have creative control, and I think those are things that people need to start understanding. That's what we need. We need control.
Yeah.
Right. We have ideas. We have bright ideas, like Sis would be saying. Oh, we have bright ideas. But like we got to have control too of our ideas. Yeah. So that's good.
Like going through that, since you like been through it, you would be able to sit there and actually know what like these small businesses or people trying to start up need.
What they're going through.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's another.
There's a lot of information that's out there that people just don't really realize. And sometimes it's like I sit there and I'll read a newspaper and I'll read some articles, and it's like you guys don't really know how that works, Yeah. And it gets very confusing. We're dealing with something right now where the city is trying to tax businesses, and overall they're trying to tax bigger businesses without really understanding the impact that the positive and the negative impact that they have. They definitely do have a negative impact, but yet at the same time there's other ways that we can kind of negotiate on how to solve different issues. And so I'm grateful to be at the table to be like, hey, listen, like I get this, I see it, it's reality. Like I'm not just reading it on an article and just jumping on the bandwagon with somebody else and being like, let's start. Let's move this way. Yeah. It's like, okay, hold on, we're at the table.
But that representation, it matters. Like you being there matters, right?
Yeah.
Is that do you feel like, I don't know, pressure at all? Like I don't know what the shade spectrum looks like in that room. You know what I mean? But
for sure, I'm definitely the youngest.
Okay. But is that code word for black or not?
And that too.
Youngest.
There's only a few of us. There is a few of us, but it's I think it's more than that, because the mayor's office decided to bring us on
for sure
and be like, hey, we need your input.
That's good.
We need you on this board.
That's good.
And not just for what everybody else would think. Oh, using you.
Not for photo ops.
Not for photo ops. I'm taking no pictures.
Yeah.
Sitting in the mayor's office, we don't take no pictures. Nobody's there to take pictures or show off that we're doing what or doing with who or nothing like that. It's more so like, what are we going to accomplish right now? What are we going to get done? What are we talking about? What are you guys talking about? And so. And then
that's
voicing
major,
our opinions.
Bro. That's major. That's major. That's good.
Definitely.
That's good. And we'll make sure to keep. We'll stay on the up and up with everything you're doing.
For sure, definitely.
With that, and I think
as soon as there's some more resources to get put on the table, I'm anywhere I can blast it, I'm gonna try to.
Let us know, man. We'll definitely be able to project that message out for you. But yeah, do you have another question for him? Because I got one. I just want to kind of.
What's one thing that you probably wish you would have knew while you were starting?
Man.
Like looking back now,
It's a great question.
So there's pros and cons behind that. I definitely made a lot of mistakes. Definitely made a lot of mistakes. And there's things that I can always improve on. But I don't think I'd be as strong if it was just like a manuscript that was just given to me and just like, yo, here, read this and this is how you do it. Because that whole time I went through the internship of running the shop, I built a community, built people around me. I got to know everybody in the neighborhood, and so that was important. And so, but as far as anything else, I mean, it would have been greater. There's other things that could have helped me fill that void or build that confidence in me, to just be like, I used to always tell myself, damn, I wish I started 5 years ago. Damn, I wish I started 10 years ago. Yeah. And so, but everything happens for a reason. And so
God's plan.
I'm grateful.
For sure. God's timing. Yeah. For sure. And I know you're probably pressed for time or whatever. And so while we have you, I got one more question for you. That's fine. Can you give us one word to describe what keeps you on the up and up? You only got one word. I'm just letting you know.
Survival. We got to survive out here. We got to maintain. We got a lot of people that, depend on us, especially, us as diasporas, us as the youngest generation to have grown up here in this system. We're put on with a lot of pressure as far as, being able to be somebody. And if I can compare myself to my mom, I'm not even there yet. Yeah. She's a beast, with so many things that she did. So, raising 2 kids, feeding us. She ain't speaking no lick of English. We interpret it to her. Yeah. And she's like, all right, I got the game plan. Yo, shut up. All right, cool, Yeah. And as much as you would think, this old lady, she don't know nothing. Like, no, she's trying to. Yeah. She's done a lot.
Yeah, but it took you growing up and looking back. Yeah. That's dope. Yeah. That's dope. Survival. We all got to survive. Surviving this jungle called America.
That keeps me up, man.
Yeah, for sure. Well, yeah, man, we definitely appreciate you coming through. As our first official guest of the UpNUp podcast. That's monumental, bro.
Hell yeah,
it's legendary.
Thank you guys, man. I mean, I'm excited for you guys because I know where you guys came from. With the late sesh and and I've talked to you guys personally about what you guys are still trying to do. And what was it? Probably I don't know, a year ago, maybe this summer. Yeah, me and you, Aaron, we were talking. It was like, oh, we're about to do this. We're about to get this together. So I mean, somebody's got to interview you guys. You guys got into this because you guys are as strong as I am. I mean, I was at that point, where I didn't have anything and I had to just utilize whatever I could. But I see you guys got a squad. You guys got a team together. So
I think we all inspire each other. You know what I mean? That's what it's about. It's just inspiring each other. But yeah, man. Again, thank you for coming. Thank you for speaking. Much success to you moving forward with Cafe Avole and everything else you got going on.
Thank you. Blessings.
And you are officially a member of the UpNUp.
Cheers.
Officially. For sure.
Come on.
Can we get a hand clap for this part? Thank you, bro. Appreciate it.
All right.